Hey, this is Stephanie.
And I'm Nina.
And you're listening to Live by the Spirit podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back.
I have spaghetti on my face. Sorry.
To be fair, the computer took about 45 minutes to actually work.
Yeah, I just really wanted to play Sims.
We haven't recorded a podcast episode in about 4 months.
Yeah.
So my computer has laid dormant for that amount of time.
She already didn't like us to begin with.
So therefore, it took 45 minutes to get my computer working and then the program to work. So, because that's how long my computer's just laid there. So we're back.
Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay. We're back after a long 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
What have we been up to?
Life. I don't know.
You got to give me more than that. A lot has happened in like the last 4 months.
We're still single.
Oh my gosh. Nobody asked.
You asked what was going on in my life. I'm still single.
No, I meant like where have we been? Like what has been going on?
Oh, well, 2 of our best friends got married.
Yes. They got married at the beginning of November.
Yeah. So we had basically 4 months of festivities lining up for that.
Not true. We had a lot of festivities in October leading up to the wedding, and we were in the wedding. So we went on a bachelorette trip at the end of August to the beach. Then we had, a wedding shower and then rehearsals and just fun things that we had going on to celebrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that took up most of our fall.
Yeah. A lot of October took that up.
Yeah.
I had a birthday. I'm 25 now.
Fun.
Oh my gosh. Well, Stephanie's giving us nothing today.
Sorry.
She started to eat and now she's distracted.
Yeah.
What else went on? What else have we done?
Nothing.
No.
Life's the same.
I feel like life is like busy, but I mean,
yeah,
that's for me at least.
I feel like October, I feel like the end of August going to literally November 1st was like just the craziness of life. It just was so unbelievably busy that I felt like I didn't have a chance to breathe. And now I feel like November was like a nice rest. Like there was barely anything going on other than the wedding and a couple things here or there. And now December is like a good, I'd say, middle ground where we have a lot going on, but I actually have time to like sit and rest and not like die basically. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the last couple of weeks I've had a lot going on, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I guess for me, my life, there were some complications. Like end of October, my dad collapsed. We still don't know what's happening. It was interesting talking with him today. He's leaning more towards now that he thinks he had a seizure. And it was interesting hearing from his neurologist because the on-call doctor at the ER was saying it wasn't a seizure, but it was seizure-like activity. And I remember not being like, oh, that sounds like a seizure. And then my dad went to the neurologist, and the neurologist was like, yeah, he's not a neurologist. He shouldn't be saying what you had because no. So I'm leaning towards he had like probably a mild seizure, but we don't know. So that was pretty scary. He's been cleared to drive and he's on a lot of medication, but we have some stuff going on next year that just, it's been eating him alive that he does not know what happened to him. So prayers over that. But,
we're happy that he's here and he's well.
It was a really beautiful test of how I've grown as a human and as a Christian since my mom died, because
Very
when
true.
I got the call from my stepmom at like 12:30, well, funny enough, when my stepmom called me, my stepmom goes to bed at like 8:30 every night. This woman does not engage with me at between the hours of 8:30 p.m. and like 6 a.m. Like she likes her sleep, which I get. But she called me at 12:30, and it just so happened that night we had like kind of like a final bachelorette party for Genesis, who our friend that got married, and I had 2 Poppy in my gut. So I won't go into what happened, but I was on the toilet for a long time.
She was awake is what
I was awake, struggling for my life on the toilet, and I missed the call because my phone was in my bedroom, and so I saw that she'd called me.
The only person I know that doesn't take their phone into the bathroom with them.
I normally do. I don't know why I didn't, but
so
my phone's also on
do not disturb.
Do not disturb. And well, also it's like in that moment, it's like you got to go to the bathroom, you got to go. So I left everything behind. So I was also straightening my wig that I got for the night before the wedding. Sorry, that's a whole other story. Anyways, yeah, she called me and I was like, crap, this either means I did something horrible, like
or
bad,
something's wrong,
or something happened to my dad. And so I immediately called her back. And my stepmom is a very calm woman. And she was like, your dad collapsed at work. She didn't sound that cheerful, but she was like, your dad collapsed at work. I'm headed to the hospital. I just thought I'd call you and let you know. I was trying to see if you need me to come pick you up, but I just passed your apartment. No offense, I'm not waiting. I'll meet you at the hospital. I was like, okay, I'll be there in 15 minutes, but he's okay.
No. Okay, from my perspective of this night, this is hilarious. I'm sleeping because I have to wake up for work at 5:30 in the morning.
It's like almost 1 a.m.
It's almost 1 in the morning. Steph comes in my room and I wake up and I consciously remember her telling me, my dad's going to the hospital. I don't know what's going on. I'm leaving. She leaves. I don't think a thing of it. I'm like, okay, I remember consciously praying while I was like half asleep. Then she calls me like 45 minutes later. It's like 1:30 in the morning and she goes, hey, so my dad's okay. We're still figuring out what happened, but in my worried state, I grabbed your fanny pack on accident when I left the apartment. I'm hoping
both of them are black.
Yeah, she's like, I'm hoping I'll be back before you leave for work. But yeah, I was like, okay. I'm like, sounds fine. I hang up. I'm like ready to go back to sleep. She calls me again. So, Judah's going to come and get your fanny pack from me and then exchange it with mine. I'm going to give him the keys.
Yeah.
You're fine. Just like hang them on the door. I was like, okay. I get up. I'm like, I may as well use the bathroom. Use the bathroom. Go hang the fanny packs on the door. Then Jude texts me, hey, can you drive to meet me? I'm like, no, it is 1:30 in the morning. 30 minutes later, he shows up at the door and he doesn't have the key because Steph was so stressed out. I get it.
I had a lot happening.
She forgot to give him the key to the apartment, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
And he's like walking up to my door at 2 a.m, smiling. And I'm like, I'm like dead. And he hands me the fanny pack and I'm like, bye.
No, him and his roommate Nick were up literally because it was Nick's birthday. They were up and having like deep, like theological conversations. And so, yeah, no. My point was to bring all this up was that I was very proud of myself because it showed my growth since my mom died, because I get the call that my dad had collapsed and we weren't sure what happened. And I just get in the car and I'm like, Jesus, you're in control. Whatever is going to happen, it's going to be in your will and it's going to be great. It's, just help keep me calm, help the doctors, just all that stuff. And I literally, like, when you're in a panic like that, it's so quick. It like you get desperate. So I was like, Lord Jesus, please protect my father. But I also was like, I have to remember that like God's will is going to happen. And like, I was like, I shouldn't be fearful of the unknown right now because we don't know nothing. We don't know anything that happened. But then it was really nice. I heard the Lord just tell me, he told me, like, he was like, I promise you your dad's going to be at your wedding. And that was all I heard. And I was like, okay, then he's going to be fine. No matter what, he's going to be fine. And then I'm really disappointed because the second I saw my dad, I bawled. And then Kathy was like, you need to leave. You need to go out into the hallway and collect yourself. And I was like, okay. because he looked so sad, and like it's weird seeing your parent in a hospital bed. Particularly, my dad's never gone to the ER for himself, and so it was just really, really weird. And he was still in all of his bowling gear because my dad was working at the
no.
bowling alley. It was so sad. He's fine though.
He's great.
He got a Fred
Love Paul.
Flintstone bowling shirt. He showed me that. This man is nuts.
We love Paul.
But yeah, no. So I feel like it was crazy because that was the week of the wedding, and I felt like I had something horrible happen to me every single day that week, leading up to the wedding.
I forgot about everything else that happened
Well,
because I feel like
it's-
that just trumped everything
Yeah.
else that happened.
Well, and I think I kept calling it the week of chaos, like leading up to it, because we had something every single day. And it wasn't like, oh, we have like an event every single day. It was like we had something all day, every day. It was like as soon as work was over, we had to go do something, even while work was going on. Like all this stuff was happening. And so it was like Monday, I had a car issue. I had to go get all new tires for my car. I personally had a health scare Monday night, and I had to go to the doctor on Tuesday. I'm fine. But it was just like I left the doctor's appointment. There was a lot of questions. Then that night into Wednesday, Dad, collapsed. And then I don't think anything. Oh, then Yankees lost the World Series
Oh, I forgot.
on freaking Wednesday. So it was
There was something like every night.
in the grand scheme of things, Yankees losing the World Series wasn't as
That bad,
dramatic compared to
still.
everything else. And I just remember being like, seriously, of all freaking weeks. And I told Genesis, I was joking around with her. I was like, I thought the enemy was supposed to try to mess with the bride and groom the week of the wedding, not the freaking bridesmaid. Like, why me? But I'm okay. My dad's okay. And we're going to Disney in February. He's so excited.
That'll be so much fun for you guys.
Yeah. He was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do everything like I normally do. And I was like, you know what? It'll be fine. We'll be content. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. So that's my life. So I think for me, you can tell now I'm in a talkative mood. I think,
Yeah, you just talked for like the last 7 minutes.
yeah, I like to talk.
Respect.
My dad today was like, my dad always says, I wonder who taught you how to talk. And I'm like, you?
You did.
I was like, you talk just as much as me, if not more. So,
You just talk more initially off the bat. Your dad is more,
yeah.
you have to initiate the conversation.
Well,
Unless it's probably
it's
with you.
helpful for you sometimes. We met Maddie Pruitt on Sunday.
Yes, we did.
And I knew immediately. And Nina gets a little, not
just
she
get
doesn't get
nervous.
awkward. She gets just a little
I get
nervous.
shy.
She gets shy when we meet new people in general, but particularly someone, I mean, it's not like we've met anyone. Well, I mean, you touched Joshua Bassett, so that was pretty cool. But
He touched me.
oh yeah, but you didn't have a conversation with him. But I just know in situations like that I need to be the one to initiate conversation. Nina, it's not like Nina stands there and doesn't say anything. It's just I know that I need to bring up conversation. That's just how our relationship is.
I don't know how to talk to people.
Yeah.
Like I do know how to talk to people, but I get nervous about talking to people.
Yeah. It was cool though getting to it was so funny. I literally felt like I know her. So she came up and said hi and like introduced
She like
herself.
came up behind you.
I know, and I was like, I feel like I already know you. And she was like, yeah, it's like weird how that works.
I mean, she shares her entire life on not
Yeah.
her entire, but a lot of her life online, and especially having known who she was since she was on The Bachelor, it's like to see that.
Well, and that was really cool to get to tell her like how beautiful it is to see her testimony unfold through that. And I was like,
Yeah.
I told her, I was like, I know you hear this all the time, but it really does mean a lot to people who are in similar seasons as you were in, and seeing how much, at least from an outsider's perspective, how much you relied on God and seeing the gifts that he's given you since then. So it was really cool to get to tell her that.
Yeah, it was really cool to meet her.
I feel like for both of us though, I feel like this few months, even this last few weeks, like our last episode was all about being content. And I think it's just been the same. Like some days are easier than others. Contentment's a choice. But yeah, I think that's been really heavy, at least for me. And my friend Emily was over yesterday, and she was like, I wish I knew someone I could set you up with. And I'm like, yeah, but like at this point, it's going to happen when it happens.
Yeah.
So
No use worrying about it.
no use worrying. Yeah.
I think for me, it's been an interesting season of not truly understanding what the purpose of it is.
Yep.
Because I don't like to say I'm in a waiting season because we're always waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about that before. But I think this season has been truly rooted in making me grow in several things. And I don't know what the purpose behind it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I'm like, this is so frustrating. God, I don't get it. Like, why? And then on my birthday, I just like when people write me letters. So I did it last year, and I had people write me letters this year as well. And I was reading through all of them. I think it was the week after the wedding. And I read all of them, and I just started crying because in almost every single letter that people wrote me,
Mm-hmm.
somebody had written, "The best is yet to come," or I feel the Lord telling me that big things are coming this year. And I'm like, what big things could possibly be happening this year when I feel like nothing is going anywhere?
You get to live with me again. That's what
I know, right? And so the one verse that's been sticking out to me is Psalm 138:8, which says the Lord will fulfill his purpose for me, which is a promise. He will do it. He will fulfill whatever his purpose is for your life, my life, anybody's life. But it's just holding fast to the promise of that, because even though in the time, like at this current time, I don't get it. Like that other verse, you don't understand right now what I'm doing, but in time you'll understand. So it's just like that. Like, I don't get the purpose now, but I know down the line I will.
Yeah. I think for me also, just the amount of trials that I've gone through in certain seasons, that verse is really true, because in the moment it sucks and you hate life, and it's just so filled with questions and wondering why this is happening to you. But then it doesn't even need to take a couple years. It can take a couple months, and you're like, wow, I understand. Like, wow, that was not an enjoyable experience. I'm happy I went through that because it taught me this and that. And I even think about that in relationships. It's like how, as much as I got hurt in past relationships, it's also like each relationship was a time where I got to learn something and learn how, I know I was in fault in certain things too. And so it's always a learning curve, and it just sucks when you feel like, I don't know. I was thinking about that. I wasn't thinking. I said this out loud the other day. I was at the gym with our friends Jillian and Olivia, and our friend Jillian just had a baby, and Olivia is about to give birth any day. And someone made a comment about like where we were last year versus where we are now. And I was like, well, I'm in the same place. I am still single. I still work at the same job. It's all, all this still the same. Whereas Liv is now married and pregnant, about to have a baby. And Jillian just had her second child. And I said it almost in a joking way, and Jillian was like, yeah, but you've also grown so much. And she was like, I know like visually your life looks the same, but like spiritually your life is vastly different. And I was like, I appreciate you telling me that.
Because it is true. It's hard for us to see in the time in where we are. It's hard to see our own growth, but that's why we have our community to call that out of us, because I would 100% say you are a completely different person than you were last year. And that is a good thing. We should always look different, because the closer we get to the Lord, the more that we change and the more that we grow to be more like him. So it's a good thing that you look different.
Yeah.
And, I think that's cool, even though season wise, it might look the same.
Yeah.
Spiritually, like Jillian said, you're not the same.
Thanks. Well,
you're welcome.
Well, we've officially lived together for several months now.
That is true.
How's it going? Time to air out all of our problems on our podcast.
Let me just lay it down. I did not live here for the first.
I think when we recorded the last episode is when you'd officially, or
you
hadn't.
The last.
You hadn't gotten your car yet.
No,
because it was the last.
Oh yeah, I know.
It was right before our friend went on tour.
Yeah. Okay, we know exactly what we're talking about. Okay, we're on the same. The way that we measure our timelines is so funny. But the last time we have recorded, I hadn't had my car back, and my car was in the shop from mid-June until mid-September. So I did not have a car for 3 months, and it was awful. But also looking back on it, I really see that the Lord had me rely on other people during that time, and it's okay to ask for help, and it's not a burden to ask people for help. Yeah, people may not always want to do things, because I get it. It's frustrating when I continuously have to ask for these things. But at the same time, the Lord gave grace to certain people to be helpful to me. So that was really great. I lived here on only the weekends, and I lived with a coworker during the week because I had to work. And that was hard, especially when I didn't sign up to live with her. I signed up to live with you. So it was I didn't live here until basically September. So that time, I think it's been good. I think I will say we don't hang out as much as I thought we would, but I think also because we're so used to just going in our rooms and being by ourselves due to past.
Yeah.
So, I think it's going well. I don't think we've had any arguments or anything
at this
like
point.
that.
This is when I tell you that I hate everything we do.
We do both need to get better at our dishes, but we're doing that this week, so it's good.
I was talking to my dad about it earlier because my dad he made some statement about him. Oh yeah, because I think my stepmom is going to go visit a couple of my step siblings and after Christmas, and so he was saying that I made a comment about me going over there a little bit more, spend time with him, and he was like, I would love that. I love spending time with you, but I do actually enjoy being by myself. Like I enjoy it, and and I was like, yeah, you do lean a little bit more towards the introverted side. And then he made a comment. He's like, but when I was your age, I hated being by myself. And it's so interesting because I feel like I'm very similar, but after living by myself for almost 3 years, I so enjoy my alone time. Like, I don't know why, but when I'm home, I like, not saying that I don't like hanging out with you, but there is something about just having me time. But
no, I agree.
But the thing is that I'm home all the time because I work from home. So I have to like almost get myself out of being introverted.
Yeah.
But I feel like we get better about it from time to time. And stuff. But I think there also was a season mixed in there with everything going on in my life where I kind of found that I was starting to get a little bit depressed. And Nina made a comment saying like, we never talk when we're home. And I, at the time, was like, not saying that I didn't want to talk to you, but I just didn't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah. And
so I remember she said that a couple times to a few people when they were asking about our living thing. And I didn't respond because I was like, yeah, I want it that way. And then I've heard the Lord say you need to go apologize and tell her what's going on. So it's like, hey, just let you know, I don't hate you. I've just been struggling, spending a lot of time in a prayer closet. It's not that I'm just in my room. And I feel like having open communication's been good, but yeah, I think also we're at the point where we're adults. Like please don't, like, we know not to get offended when someone, like Nina literally told me the other day, she was like, are you going to pick up your coats? And I was like, I
didn't mean it like that, but people were coming over in like an hour.
I know,
I was like,
but
it's like, pick these up?
But it's like I can't take offense to those things, or like I can choose to be offended by what you're saying. Yeah, and it's like I get because we did have people coming over, and I was in the middle of doing the dishes because we had dishes piling up. So it was like,
you knew my heart behind it wasn't to like,
yeah,
are you gonna pick your coats up? It was like, oh, are you picking these up before people come over? Like, I didn't know.
And then I had said something similar like the week before you left. I was like, can you please do your dishes before you leave for before you leave for Thanksgiving? Yeah. And so, yeah, I would say this is the best living situation I've had, having to live with someone else. I also think because we have so much space, it's so nice. Like we both have our own bathrooms.
It's so nice to have space, not saying like away from each other, but it is nice that we're not on top of each other. Like we have room and we have like, I don't know, I think it's nice.
Yeah,
we were talking about how, because we have a 3-bedroom apartment, it would be so hard to live here with 3 people.
Yeah,
I don't think we could do it.
No.
We have too much stuff.
Well, also it's like we're in our office right now. It's like I just love this space. Like I feel like this is like my creative space. Like I have my Cricut in here. We have our podcast in here. I also work in here. So it's like I love having a room that I can just come in and be creative and just, I hate saying like make a mess and just close the door, but there are, like, you see my desk is always a mess. And so
mine is actually becoming that way. I really try to not keep it like that, but
yeah,
I feel like this is where I write all my notes to people.
Yeah.
That's where I like to get creative too.
So I mean, I think we'd both be open to having another roommate, but just not in this apartment.
Yeah.
We would need a house, maybe 4 bedrooms.
I think we've learned that we like the space and the distance from each other, but not being, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But I think having another person in the mix would be like almost too much.
Here or just in general?
No, here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we have a good thing going.
Yeah, I had to pay my rent check the other day, and I went to hand it in, and our leasing agent was just catching up with me because I hadn't seen her in probably a month or two, and she was like, so you guys really liking the 3-bedroom? I said, yes, I'm so glad we didn't go with the 2-bedroom.
Nina did not want to do the 3-bedroom. I pushed it.
Well, but also I will say, because of what I prayed about it, and I think it happened so easily and so quickly, and I think that the Lord has been faithful to provide.
Yeah.
So I think that this is where we should be.
Yeah. Remember like a couple years ago when you couldn't stand the thought of living with me?
It wasn't that. I was just concerned because I have never lived with somebody. Like, I had never lived with anybody outside of my own family up until this year.
Yeah.
So I was just genuinely worried about relationally how it would be. But I mean, Jonah and I argue because obviously we're siblings and we will argue. But like, we haven't argued about anything. And we've lived together since June.
Yeah. All right. Here's the question.
What's the question?
Who's a better roommate, me or Jonah?
See, there's a difference. There's different things to it. Like, Jonah would he would game in the living room, which is fine because that was where his desk was and everything. So I felt like when he was gaming, I couldn't be in the living room because I didn't want to watch a show and hear him yelling. So I was like, okay, so just be in my room. But I will say he did a lot for me that he did not need to in the aspect of he would make dinner and be like, oh, let's meal prep. I'll make this. Do you want some for lunch? And I'd be like, yeah. So I feel like I relied on that too much to then the beginning of this year. I was like, I forgot how to meal prep because Jonah basically did it for me the last year. But I think it's good the way that we don't do things like that for each other because then I would become reliant on that.
Yeah. You got to get some independence.
I know. And it's good to have that. And I have to do it. And it's been good. But I don't think that there's a way for me to genuinely say who's better because it's completely different spectrums.
It's me. It's okay. Sorry, Jonah. I'm pretty awesome. Our apartment looks very stylish.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Our knockoff cloud couch.
Honestly, I'm just a fan of the Christmas decorations. And I
you
know
wanted me to wait.
I know because I don't celebrate Christmas before Thanksgiving, but I will say it was really funny. I came home. I had to go immediately to a rehearsal, and then I came and drove home from the rehearsal after I got off the plane from New York for Thanksgiving. And I walked in, and I was like, it's like a winter wonderland in here. This is so nice. Yeah. And it was a lot of fun, too, that it looked like that. So I'm glad I didn't have to do it because I don't know how to decorate for holidays like that. And I'm glad you like to do that.
Well, it was funny because I had to take you to the airport at 4 a.m. and I went back to bed when I got back home and woke up and did some work. And I was like, I am not putting up the Christmas decorations today. That is so much work. I'm not going to do it. And then my lunch break hit and I was like, well, I mean, I guess I can get the tree out and at least get the tree up. That way it's Christmassy in the living room. And so I did that. And then I was like, well, I guess I could put the tinsel on the tree, put the garland up on the tree. And I was like, well, I already have my ornaments out. Might as well just put the ornaments up on the tree. And then it was like that. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not doing anything else. And then it was like, well, I want to put the stockings up. And then I put the stocking. It was just and then at one point I was like, I'm just full on decorating at this point. But yeah.
Today, Steph bought us stockings with our initials on them.
I did.
So now it looks festive.
$4.99 at Publix.
They were cute.
Yeah.
So now we have decorations, stockings with our initials on them.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
One of those days.
I feel that.
But I got nothing else.
Me either.
It's probably the most we've talked living together in a while.
You ain't wrong. And after this, what are we going to do?
I'm gonna go play Sims.
You're gonna go play Sims
and watch a Christmas movie.
I'm gonna try to memorize my script,
Oh yeah, for your Christmas play.
the Christmas play I'm in, and then I'm going to probably go to bed.
I am in the Christmas play, except I did mine via.
She did like a
at Jude's
voiceover, and it's
studio.
hilarious.
Joseph, hear my warning.
It's so good.
That was my line. I have another
It is
line, but I
so
don't remember
funny. Yeah, I'm so excited to see the final product of like how it's all gonna work. I mean, obviously, I'll have to go watch it back. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to watch myself act. But yeah, I'm excited for how it's gonna go, and I think it's gonna be good.
it. Yeah. Well, it was good.
Anyways.
Great being back.
And we are going to keep this up because I'm going to make sure we do.
Okay.
Okay. I'll look at the schedule, and I mean, we could do next Thursday.
Depends.
Oh my gosh.
I actually might have plans with my dad, but we'll figure that out later.
Yes, we are going to record, and we will, this is a promise from me, Nina, be back next week.
Okay.
Anyways, well,
Bye.
see y'all later. Peace
Bye.
and blessings.